Are you someone that cannot sit still and shut the world out? If so, that means that your vagus nervous tone is low. But here's how we can address that.
Welcome back, guys, to the GlowTalks studio. I am very excited today to present to you some additional topics to kind of layer on after speaking with the chiropractor and our Tai Chi yoga master. We're going to be discussing a little bit deeper than just functionality of the body, and we're going to discuss the nervous system and specifically the vagus nerve, which I don't know if you guys know much about it, but it really is the centerpiece and powerhouse of our entire system. Without further ado, I would love to introduce you the CEO of Moss Wellness, Scarlett Castro.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's such a pleasure to be here talking about the vagus nerve. As we've talked offline, it's such an important topic because I think it translates to the integrative wellness piece that I do, but that so many people just indulge. And I want us to ensure that we can bring in this knowledge to empower them to be able to make those important and positive health decisions.
Yeah. Well, and even which you guys stay tuned because we're going to be going into kind of how the human body might react to a nervous system shutdown, right?
Yep.
Or where we're really struggling on that side and may not even be aware of it.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
even this whole thing of feeling like wired but still tired, not able to fall asleep. I think there's so many different facets of how the nervous system like works in our body. Even the nerves that are in the sheathing around the muscle, pain, you know, all of it's just trying to give us some
signal.
Yeah.
For
of what
help.
needs to what
Absolutely.
needs the healing.
I think that our bodies love us so much that like if we pay attention, you know, they're telling us these things like, hey, I feel good when I do this. I don't feel good when I haven't had, 7-8 hours of sleep. So we just have to pay attention to those cues. And I'm excited to dive into what the vagus nerve does for us and how it works, especially as we translate it into self-care, spaces like massage therapy, like you mentioned earlier, like our bodies, sometimes they are in this like survival mode. So in certain spaces,
fight or flight.
Yeah. So in certain spaces, even though that they are in safe spaces, they still feel threatened, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to shut down. And it's just about really finding that real like root cause of like, hey, what's going on? Where do we need to address these challenges in that space of the nervous system?
Yeah.
So
No, I'm very excited to talk about it. So let's see. There is a science behind, I want to say like the art of relaxation, right? The nervous system could be considered that CEO of that process, right? Or the vagus nerve even. It's the main nerve that connects basically our entire organ system.
Exactly, yes.
And as I spoke in a previous episode, we were talking about Tai Chi. I know I've also touched on, let's say, acupuncture and like acupressure and things like that. So yes, there are signal and pressure points that we can use, but overall that vagus nerve is like the main superhighway. And you shared with me that you also have a love and a background for nutrition. So that was something I did for years. And I think that's like always a good place to start, not just in therapy for like massage or manipulating the actual
tissue
physical
and fascia.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I love that word, the CEO of relaxation.
Yeah.
And as you said, the vagus nerve is really like the longest cranial nerve that starts at the brainstem.
Yep.
And it
so
travels.
At the base of the neck.
Yeah, at the base.
Or I'm sorry, at the base of the skull.
Correct. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it connects from the brainstem, which it's part of like that suboccipital. So at the back of the skull, like you said,
like where the bones, like where you can feel those two little bones.
Exactly.
It feels good to rub it.
That's a favorite. Like when I'm doing massage.
Yeah.
It releases so much because those nerves are traveling through there. And then this SCM, which I really get, like a lot of people say, I've never gone the SCM massage. And this one is a really good one. So you want to go on the same side and you want to hold and you go up and down.
Yeah, it feels so good. Guys, you should try it. If you're watching, just try this. It actually...
Yeah, so when we have headaches, that's a really good one that I use. And I even...
Or like clenching your teeth at night when you sleep.
Yeah.
And that's also your nervous system.
Yeah.
Like that could be a symptom.
Yeah, your TMJ, because a lot of the times we're like grinding our teeth that we don't even know because we're sleeping, right?
That's right.
So that vagus nerve starts there at that brainstem, travels through the throat, heart, and gut.
Okay, I know.
Yeah.
That gut. Well, what I found were a lot of patients, for instance, who, unfortunately, it's like, after they've been eating a lot of foods that they're sensitive to, or they didn't realize, or their gut is very inflamed, or that there's some parasites, let's say yeast, bacteria growing in there, it's kind of like the vagus nerve just cuts off.
Yeah.
Where now the brain and the gut aren't really able to connect.
Yeah,
so that's where you find overeating, right? Binge eating, being hungry a lot where it's not necessarily that.
Yeah, because it plays with the different hormones, right? Whether that's the ghrelin or the leptin, right?
Yep.
And we know that the brain and the gut axis is connected because we make serotonin in the tummy, right? And serotonin is a hormone, but
it's a happy feeling. It's our happy feeling.
Yes, but it's also a neurotransmitter. So what that means is it's made in the gut and travels through the brain. But
if it's like cut, right, or like so a lot of the time you can have an overgrowth of yeast or bacteria, and then it reduces your own body's natural ability to make those hormones, number one. And number two, even the, a lot of those, what do I want to say? Enzymes.
Yeah, enzymes.
Like the very special enzymes that help to like promote keeping a balance.
Yeah.
Those get bogged down.
Absolutely.
And they can't like catch up.
Yes.
So
yeah, and because when we do talk about the vagus nerve, we're talking about like kind of like an AC in an off and on switch, right? So we have that vagal, when that vagal tone is high, we actually talk about it in tones, right? When it's high, you have a good digestion, better sleep quality, your mood is fantastic, right? Again, because you just said it, the serotonin is that hormone that makes you happy, feel
better.
good.
Yeah, feel good.
And when we have the vagal tone low, then you know that your immune system isn't great, your mood isn't, you're inflamed, you have a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
Which
anxiety.
again, there's that connection between the gut and the brain when we talk about all these, other mental health like depression, anxiety. So it's huge. Everything is connected, just like the muscles, I say, you know, they're all connected. Like if something's hurting here, is something that's off balance somewhere, you know.
That's right. And looking for the root is always, I think, the best method.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes a little time, which I like that at Moss Wellness, I saw that it's just very integrative. So you're going to look at the whole human and the whole body.
Exactly.
As one.
And we're like trying to identify, okay, let's get the nervous system going. I do specialize in women's health, specifically around hormone health. Although I'm inclusive of all genders and life cycles, we really look at that. Let's get some lab work, and I work with your medical team care to be able to identify that other half, right? I always say that's my other half piece of the puzzle, and then we can get to like really saying, okay, what does the lab work? What is it telling us? What story is it telling us? And from there, we're taking those baselines or biomarkers that we need to work on.
So it's not just like, oh, you get the lab and then, oh, you should take this pill and this pill.
Oh, no, not at all. No, I have a more holistic approach. So we're going to really identify first, hey, were you someone that's coming in? Typically, people think that we're overeating, but the reality is when we do these assessments, what's coming up is that we're undereating because when we don't know what goes in, we don't. To me, data is so important because that's like a baseline. Okay, then we know. Okay, either you, Jess, you're coming in with X amount of calories. Although we don't count calories, we're looking at the macronutrients, which are those
powerhouses.
Yes, that yield energy. So we also, micronutrients are tiny, but play such a big role into your nutrition as macronutrients.
Yeah.
But protein, fats, and carbohydrates are what yield that energy, right?
In addition to having a good quality food. So eating whole foods that are power packed with antioxidants and some of these other micronutrients that are so important and are the building blocks to our entire cellular health.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And there's a few that I think, namely, and I also learned this in my work, which people kind of disregard it, but look, vitamin D, magnesium,
we're talking about these
B12,
things now.
Those three are really the top, right? We can say there's a lot of other ones, of course, that you want to get, especially if you're an athlete, then your requirements are going to be more. If you want more output, you have to pay attention to the input.
Exactly. So that brings us to it's not only the quantity, but also the quality, right? And we are talking about these vitamins and minerals more often because I hate to say this, but it's the reality. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to get diagnosed, to get these blood works, because when we do go to a doctor's office, majority of the times we're only getting the baseline. Yeah. So here's why we're doing these podcasts, to empower our audience to say, I have this information, let's go. And that's one of the things that exactly what
don't just assume anymore. Ask the question and go find it out.
Exactly.
Yeah. We have to advocate always for our own health. No one is going to do it for us.
Yes. And that's part of my work too. We do consultations to be able to empower someone to go to the doctor's office and say, hey, these are some of the symptoms that I'm having, and I'd love to be able to have these lab works done. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. And sometimes, look, insurance isn't going to cover it, or the labs aren't covered, but just you guys investing in your own health and investing in getting some of these markers done, it's really worth it. I mean,
Absolutely.
Nava, that I had worked with for years, and I still collaborate with them, they had food sensitivity tests. And I had to pay out of pocket for myself and for my kids. But guess what? We found that we were highly sensitive to certain foods.
That we
eat every day. Yeah. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, well, that's why I have anxiety, because I'm really highly sensitive to gluten. Yeah. And then lo and behold, when you stop adding that into your body for now, you see a difference, right? Absolutely. And then those are, I think, also the stepping stones to regulating your nervous system.
Yes.
And helping that vagus nerve to come down and not be so irritated.
Yeah. And there's that connection, right? Because we talk about foods as which foods are anti-inflammatory, right? And that have that stress response in the body. And everybody's so unique. So everybody's stress response is going to be totally different, right?
Yeah.
But this is why talking about the vagus nerve is so essential. So we have that picture of okay, this is what that job is. And so back to the CEO of relaxation, as you were saying, the vagus nerve is really the biggest driver for that parasympathetic rest and digest and healing state.
So how are we layering in, for instance, massage therapy? Because I know that you had added also, in addition to the nutrition and workouts and a modified plan with your patients, the massage therapy can be very helpful.
Yeah. So I started, as I mentioned to you, 10 years ago as a nutritionist. Then I saw the need that you couldn't do one without the other with fitness. So I furthered my studies in kinesiology. And then years later, I was seeing a lot of people, and which is crazy because my work in the massage therapy space started as more of pain management and pain recovery.
Yep, exactly.
But as I've delved into this work, it's beyond. It's something that I can't even explain to you. It's gone far to emotion.
Oh, yeah.
seeing my clients,
We trap it all.
yeah, release those emotions.
Yeah.
So it's a different also scope of work. But where I try to combine it is because I am specializing in hormone health, bringing that extra added piece of wellness into it has been wonderful because we are a society that is focused on more is more rather than less is less, right? So I think that was my whole idea of trying to say, hey, we actually need to slow down.
Go back to the basics.
Go back to the basics. And for me, looking at the pillars of health, which would be, yes, nutrition, fitness, sleep, but also that stress, as we know, it's like a common denominator for wreaking havoc. Like most of our...
well, our mind, whatever the thoughts are in our mind, and I really just... I can't unsee what I've seen, in general and in myself of like the more stressed or the more that I'm like ruminating or like having these like constant thoughts of like lists of things to do.
Yeah.
I just get like, I feel it in my body.
Yeah. Because stress isn't just a feeling, right?
Yeah.
Stress, the way that I see it, is a full body physiological event, is what is happening in the body. So when we're in that constant chronic
like
stress,
fight or flight,
our hypothalamic pituitary adrenaline axis, known as the HP axis, continues to pump out cortisol and adrenaline, which are our two stress hormones, and it keeps pumping it out as if though our body is still
under attack.
Yeah. So that puts our body in a constant sympathetic state. So when someone comes to Moss Wellness, like a client, like you just asked, it's really easy to identify. Also because I've been doing this and I'm very intuitive into like my work. But even someone that might say this isn't my field could also see through someone's biomechanics, like people who tend to be more stressed.
Yeah, they hold their shoulders up,
close to their ear.
They're fidgety.
Yeah, their jaw is tight. We talked about that, the TMJ area.
And you don't even realize, like as you're sitting there,
exactly,
that you're doing any of this stuff.
And then too, like the breathing.
Right. Well, it becomes shallow. So less oxygen to the blood, less oxygen to the brain.
Absolutely.
So no wonder why we're getting up and falling over or passing out or, I mean. Or people get lightheaded and they're like, oh, I don't know what happened. Well, because you were probably laying there thinking over and over 1,000 things and weren't even thinking about that your breathing is completely off. Or that you hadn't taken a breath in over a minute,
Also, to notice when people apologize for not being able to relax.
Right.
Because, like, even if, like I said, even if you're in a safe space, your body cannot really identify that. It just doesn't, like, it doesn't click to the body that, oh, I'm in a safe. It could take like 3 sessions before my clients actually, there's no cue needed from me as the therapist where like I have to say, hey, let's hone in back into your breath or let me put my hand in their sternum just for them to drop their shoulder, but literally by, I think the third session, if you're consistent in it, like you could start to see your nervous system say, okay, I love this space. I feel safe. Just like when we're building trust in a relationship, it's the same thing for the body. It needs time. It needs that softness and to like remind it, hey, it's okay to let go because our bodies, when we are in that sympathetic state, we're in that constant like, okay, chronic phase where we're like, I'm just in a survival mode.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, like, guys, don't be afraid to go in. Let's say you want to start working out again, or you have goals of, maybe even just taking therapy, let's say, or going to get a massage.
Absolutely.
And that's okay. Just, it might take a couple times, but hang in there. And
consistency.
As you, and probably also finding a provider that you connect with.
Yeah. Which I think maybe we'll tap into that emotion thing that I brought you in about, because that's another part of that work with the nervous system.
So let's talk a little bit more about like actionable healing. Like, what can we do for ourselves? Let's say if we don't have time for a massage this week and our nutrition's kind of like blah, you know,
because life happens.
I mean, and it can't, you know, look, we're not all superhuman, you know, sometimes. But I mean, aside from us, yes, just being intentional about setting up a plan. Like I always say, if I have kind of a plan that for the week of having groceries and healthy food in the house, and or, you know, let's say I have business meetings for a lunch or a dinner, choosing a restaurant that you know can have alternatives that will work with your food sensitivities or the way that you prefer to eat. Those are also great to consider. But let's say like I can't pay attention to all that. Like, what can I do? You know, what can I do to help myself?
My favorite.
So I like this one that you just shared with us.
That's a good one because that's always pulling, right? And that suboccipital where that brainstem, you know, because we can't look internally, right? So that's pulling there, and that could already just release a lot of tension in the jaw.
I feel it already.
So we say go on the same side and find that SCM. It's a really thick muscle. That right there. So we could do that.
By the way, guys, you can get Botox in this area. I just learned that. So.
Oh, really? I didn't know. Yeah.
I just learned that you can actually have Botox here to help
release that tension.
And for people who
hold a lot.
Jaw,
yeah. I know the masseter is, if I'm saying it right, and then for the shoulders as well to relax. But I didn't know the SCM. But that's a good one.
But this feels really good. And I'm sorry for those of you who are listening and not watching our YouTube video. There's these two little muscles that are under your chin, like on your neck, on either side.
SCM. Yeah,
you can just hold it.
It's a good one. So
and
that
then you
one,
said rub on the same side.
Yeah, just pulling up and down. It's really good. Also, if you have headaches, it will definitely release some of that tension.
Okay.
The other one is my real favorite. We don't need an app. And it's free. It's just your breath work, really. Breathing in. I always do a very simple one. So inhaling 4 counts through the nose and then releasing 8 through the mouth. Once we exhale, humming, you can add singing because what...
Oh yeah, I heard humming, singing, that stimulates the vagus nerve.
Yes, because as you remember that I mentioned that nerve travels through the throat, you know, it's and down through the heart. So it's stimulating that area and it just activates the parasympathetic.
I'm sure that also, and I've heard
the diaphragm,
for the diaphragm, like being able to
breathe and utilize.
Open up the rib cage. So this is where some of that yoga practices, even the slower yoga where you're just literally on your side and expanding your rib cage. And when you breathe in, and in dance, actually, we do a lot of this where we have to separate each rib cage, and the top and the bottom are kind of, we want them to function separately. Part of the beauty of being able to do that is
that breath work through the diaphragm.
The breath work and the diaphragm.
Yeah. That's why you do see dancers that their body
is more like...
because of that work that they've done through the diaphragm. So inhaling 4. So do you want to try it?
Yeah, let's try it.
All right. So inhale 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Release 8. 1, 2. Hum as you exhale. There you go. Beautiful. And the beauty about this is as you practice the inhale and exhale, and you do, of course, in addition to like other modalities of fitness, we build that heart rate, which allows for that breath to be longer and that exhale to also be longer. So that's also
so the capacity of the lung can
your lungs
increase over time.
Which translates when we're running, right? The more we have that lung capacity, the longer we can do like a mile, 2 before stopping because we're able to control that breathing. In dance, it's so crucial. In dance too.
It's so crucial. And I mean, part of my training is literally going through my routines and then breathing in and out at certain parts of the routine. But I have to be intentional about it.
Yeah, intentionality.
Because like you just forget, like you're doing all this stuff with your feet and your arms and your hands and you have to do all this stuff and smile. And then like before you know it, you're like, I didn't actually breathe. No wonder I'm about to pass out.
But it's true because even when we translate it back, like a lot of the headaches is because we're not breathing, right?
Yeah.
We're holding that and that stress.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful to be able to actually
And to do it any time of the day.
any time of the day.
You're not
wherever
you are.
Yeah, you're feeling stressed, overwhelmed, whatever that feeling, it will release that anxiety, that
And it's a practice, right?
Yeah.
So we just have to remind ourselves. And
Yeah.
even some of the coaching I had done in the past is literally make 3 goals in the morning.
Yeah.
Just write down 3 goals.
that you have.
And it could be just remember to do your breath work.
Yeah.
Or if you feel stressed today, breathe.
Yeah.
Do 3 sets of the 4 in, 8 out
Yeah.
breathing.
Yeah.
Before you answer, before you call, when you feel overwhelmed or anxious or nervous about something or scared to do something, just take a few minutes.
You're gonna feel lighter.
Yeah.
Like it already just one
Resets.
Yeah, resets. And I always say like meditation isn't about, because breath work is it's under that meditation work, and it isn't about like just
Letting go of everything. And, don't think about that. Just think about nothing. You're like,
but it's more so being present and holding in that thought that
and
is
aware.
so uncomfortable, and being, okay, this is what's making me uncomfortable. I want to sit in this uncomfortableness for a minute and then releasing it and let it go.
Well, I think for me anyway, part of the process of me realizing that I was actually healing my vagus nerve was the fact that I could stop and be a witness to myself.
Yeah.
That I could finally be like, okay, you're feeling XYZ. You're feeling anxious right now.
Yeah.
Jess, just
Breathe,
take a minute.
Or
take your breaths and whatever. Like part of me realizing that is the healing process and then actually doing it, that is where I started to see some growth and some change, and where like, my body could be more in a resting state.
The awareness, right? That awareness of like, hey, I'm not well, but how can I get it to the next state?
What's the next best step right now for me to move through this discomfort?
Yeah. And we have so many, right? But these are just like 2 of my favorite, easy peasy.
Yep. So this
very free,
tapping has been another thing that I've learned. So there's like key places you can tap, like on your face.
Yeah. Because it's like all the areas of trigger points as well that also release emotion.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep. So these all are like different places, and just takes a minute, just to be like, come back to yourself.
Yeah, because touch, and I know we'll talk about that, how it's so impactful, right? To give signals to that nervous system.
Well, that you care for it.
Yeah.
I started talking to myself in the shower, and especially I just recently injured my ankle again. So I've been like, it's doing okay. I mean, it's healing actually quite faster than I thought it was going to. But part of it is of like every morning taking the time to put the arnica gel and like actually tell my ankle,
like speaking love into it. Yeah.
Thank you for doing all these,
for carrying me through.
For doing all these things, and I'm going to do everything I can to help you to get back to life. And like,
I mean, our ankle carries a lot of our weight. We say that it's our shoulders, but really and truly the ankle is
the feet and the ankles.
Feet. Yeah.
So as a dancer, you can imagine I'm scheduled to do a competition in a couple of weeks, so I'm like really hoping that this thing kind of comes back to life. Let me know if I
can help in any way. And I also have to share that I was a dancer too.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Dance is such a modality for healing. Like,
it is.
It's fun.
As
and
you
the music
spoke about
and
the tummy and the breathing, turns and pirouettes and all of that, right? Keeping that spine. But again, the nervous system is involved in every aspect of it. Like, could be sports, could be, just anything. Yeah. I think it's kind of like a central part of our, like, just physiology.
So I know that there are several different modalities of massage, and, maybe we can chat with our viewers a little bit about that, because some people really do want to go in just for something relaxing and calming. Others might need a little higher pressure for, like,
pain or trigger points. No, absolutely. I think I personally am a therapeutic massage therapist, and what that means for me, the way that I've structured it, is within the therapeutic massage, I do neuromuscular therapy. I use deep. I also use a little bit of Swedish, right? I'm not the relaxation massage therapist, which that work is also very beautiful. And I think you find those more at locations like spa. But for the type of work that I am being known for and really am passionate is that, like,
where it is a therapy.
Yes. Like, so
you're approaching each client
differently. And we have, I call it like each client has a protocol. And so actually, my therapeutic is called the Axis Therapeutic Massage Therapy, and it starts at 90 minutes because 60 minutes is a sweet spot because it's very like, okay, you just have an hour, let's do as much as we can, but it doesn't really dive into like the work. So that one is really designed for clients who have pain or want to work on something, whether it's even mobility, the nervous system, just recovering from surgery or pain.
Also stretching, you mentioned.
Stretching. So that 90 minutes gives me that ample time to be able to like really hone in. Sometimes clients just want, an upper body because they're experiencing pain. So we do the glutes to the neck, and then I turn them around and do the anterior part. Each one has its place at the given time. And so that's why I've designed the therapeutic to be able to say, okay, we're not gonna kill you in these 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's not like
exactly. But
sometimes I don't know, I need that like in certain spots.
Yeah. But it won't be the whole session. Like there's that place, like I get to learn your body as you come back, because it's like I'm getting to know your body. You're also getting to know your body, right?
Yeah.
And there will be moments where that deep pressure, which I do love and enjoy, it has its purpose. And then the rest of the body doesn't need that. So it could be a little bit more of that Swedish.
Or the stretching.
More so. The deep and the neuromuscular are similar. Deep is really trying to get deep into that muscle, where the neuromuscular is where we're trying to dissolve those like knots or like trigger points.
Calcifications that can grow, especially after injury or between the sheathing of the muscle fibers.
Absolutely.
And I know that with the nervous system, like each muscle has its own sheath or like pocket, essentially, that it kind of sits inside of. And that pocket has all the nerve endings that go all through it and around the muscle. And sometimes like it can get stuck.
Yes.
Where it's not like.
And you also like, I think you describe it beautifully too, but when someone experiencing pain is because we've already touched like that nerve. Like, that nerve is involved because
and it's like pinched.
So we need to try to just release that in order for it to really do its job, to get that blood circulation and nutrients back into that muscle. And, I work a lot with knee pain, people that are having, coming in post-surgery.
Oh, right.
So working, proximal to distal. And
because just because you're having the pain in the knee doesn't mean like that's where you're going. Like you have to go to all these other supporting areas.
Your hip, a little bit of the piriformis and glutes, TFL, IT band. So like a lot of the surrounding muscles. So.
And for someone who's really active, let's say an artist, like, performing arts, athlete, and that type of thing, like, what would you recommend for them? Like, how often would they?
In the therapeutic, I also like do the sports massage. So you could do a sports massage, but also the therapeutic is good. Depending on the sport, right? We could do a pre, like a post, massage. It really is very individual to that specific sport. And person,
and timing.
And timing, depending how your body recovers. Because I could have two dancers, but you two respond to each massage session differently, right? Like I may be able to go deeper with you, and I have, dancer B who might not be receptive, or her body might not be receptive. given where her
Right.
vagus nervous, or just in general, that where she is parasympathetic, or is she in a constant sympathetic state?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I see.
so it's
What
very,
about like women, let's say, going through, because you do, focus on women's health
yeah.
and hormones. Let's say if we're going through premenopause and having some of these type symptoms, like what kind of massage would be good for someone like that?
Yeah, for perimenopause and menopause, I would say even the therapeutic, taking, again, learning their body just to see where they are. But a lot of Swedish just to help them calm down. Like, well, not them specifically, but the nervous system. Because when we are in these two states, our hormones are fluctuating. We're in constant stress and inflammation as well, because we're not getting sufficient, like whether it's like our estrogen
That
is
it's
imbalanced
balanced. Yeah.
or progesterone, and it's the thing about these topics too is like environment, or like the social determinants of health. So we also have to take into account given where they are in their life, right?
Yeah.
So again, stress is going to be a big factor.
Or grief, like after I lost my husband.
Absolutely.
Like I did enjoy going to get a massage, but I noticed that I did not want to have any deep tissue work done. Like I was not interested in that.
Yeah, you wanted soft and very intentional
to let go.
strokes. Yeah. Which that brings us to emotions that I do want to share about the space and work. It's really the body, like touch is really a direct way to speak to the body. Like if we compare it, body work with talk therapy, body work works from bottom to up.
Okay.
And talk therapy does the reverse. It tells the brain something, and then it's an action to the body.
Then it wants the body to
follow. Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas body work, we work down up, meaning that we're going to, when we touch and we do these intentional strokes, like you said, like when someone's grieving, you want very soft, because what touch does, it activates mechareceptors, which are essentially just like touch sensories, right? So it sends a signal to the parasympathetic system and says, hey, you're calm,
safe.
you're calm. Yeah, you're safe. And so it allows your body to come down and be like, okay, I'm relaxed. I like this space.
Yeah, that's interesting, because what I did find with a lot of folks who were going through cleanses and the nutrition, it's the body, it's from down up.
Yeah.
Like that's where I saw then after they'd start cleansing, losing weight, or that, some of the yeast or bacteria would be released.
Yeah.
Then you could see the whole person just
shift,
brighten up or change completely in the mind,
because that is, it happens first, right? And then you become a believer, because it's hard to convince,
see it.
Convince the mind and then be like, okay, we're going to get you to lose weight and this and that. You can promise all these things, but not until it happens, it doesn't click with the mind. So that's how I try to explain, where I love that analogy of the body works bottom up. Yeah. And it really trumps words and thoughts.
I agree. I agree. It's good to come to a homeostasis first.
Yeah. Bringing
with
it to
your
stability.
Physical self.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the time we don't even know that we've trapped all these feelings, right? And we've like trapped a bunch of trauma and stuff like everywhere.
The body does process or holds to stress, right? And so because it where it holds it is in the tissue, in our psoas muscle.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard
the psoas?
that?
Yep, exactly. I've had a lot of work done on the psoas. And as a matter of fact, when you were talking about, or, when I was reading a little bit more about the emotional impact of doing some of the workouts, like I remember being in a yoga session in a huge class, and we were doing a lot of hip openers, and all of a sudden I started crying.
Yeah.
Like
it's
in
that
the
emotion
middle
that's
of the class.
releasing.
And I was just like, and I couldn't stop. And my good friend Rhonda was leading the class, but she was just like, came over and just rubbed my back a little while I was in a,
Yeah, in that release of emotion.
Oh my gosh.
I think for me, it's one of the most beautiful things to witness. And I've witnessed plenty on my table.
Yeah.
I've also gotten the feedback after where like they say, Scar, I went home and I just cried, and then I went to sleep. And that's where, like, for me at the beginning of my work,
You're like,
this was
I
like,
did my job.
yeah,
That's what
because
I'm
you
here to
know
do.
that work landed and that it did its job. But first, at the beginning, I was like, whoa, what is this? You know, like, I was even shocked because it was my first few times being exposed to that. And I'm like, I love my work. Like, I'm so passionate about helping others. I just had another one where literally I did the
This part.
and it released in that moment the tears that I even got emotional too, like in the sense of like, whoa, I felt that energy.
Yeah.
And what's happening is because when we're under that stress or in that survival mode, the body holds that tension, or even like we hold a lot of tension in our stomach, you know, because again, going back to that serotonin, where it's our feel good hormone. And so when I release that, or any therapist releases that through Bodywork, it says, okay, I'm this job that was supposed to be done a while ago is finally, you know, completed. Yeah.
So now once someone, you know, starts feeling better, let's say they are in that fight or flight consistently, it's been years, they start undergoing body work, looking at nutrition, what kind of things could they see as a result? Like, what positive things do you see with your patients?
So many things. And
aside from some of these releases, we've talked about some of this.
Yeah, not only the extrinsic component of their body composition changing, but like the hormonal aspect, right? Bringing their hormones into a balanced state rather than imbalance. Skin health, right?
Oh yeah, you start seeing the skin really brighten up.
A lot of like mood, the mental brain health aspect, where they're like, hey, you know, before I used to get so agitated overwhelmed for little things, and now I'm like, I'm really appreciating what life is about, right? Because they're in a place where they're not in a constant flight or fight, and they're able to process certain things in a more relaxed manner. Their nervous system is, you know, I guess
more
thriving
regulated.
And more regulating. Also, even deeper, like I do work with women that want to conceive, right? So that they're like, oh my God, I went to my appointment and everything looks great. I'm going to plan the next step is conceiving, right? And personally, it's something that I've lived with myself, right? I've shared publicly that I've been diagnosed with PCOS, and that also has different stages. And the stage that I was diagnosed is that stress one, and it makes sense because at the time,
and then it's hard to get pregnant when you're
it's hard
in that.
It's definitely a challenge for fertility. And it makes sense because when I look at my life at that point, I was going to grad school, you know, I was doing all these things all at once. But the moment this time around, like, you know, I could say that, you know, my body is in a better place, right? Because I'm doing all those things. I, as a massage therapist, also get my 2 hours massages, you know. I'm honing in more into my nutrition. Fitness is a big part of my life. And I always say this because I share it. I'm like, it isn't my whole life, but it is a big part of my life.
Yeah. And listen, we going back to it, we have to advocate it. You know, what I do is I set my appointments for myself as if it were a meeting.
Exactly.
And just,
your non-negotiables.
I don't skip it. Like it's on my calendar every week. And no, I'm not changing it. You know, I'm okay if something happens or with one of my kids or something, of course, then I have to modify, but then I always really do try to adjust it. So I still get it in that week. Like I very rarely will skip, you know?
And I think that's beautiful because that's like a non-negotiable. And to answer your question, what other things people see is that the boundary of self-love and self-care, which has become a popular 2 words. But it really means that, hey, I'm going to honor my body. If today, it doesn't matter what modality you like do, if it's running, if it's weightlifting, but it's movement, which is medicine. And so is food, right? I think that those are like one of the biggest things that I see my clients thrive. And
that
even
they start now, like putting it in as a non-negotiable. Where before they were like, I don't know.
Yeah, even simply too, cooking, like going from not cooking and buying food to being able to say, hey, you know, I actually have my meals, and however
ready
people want, however someone wants to meal prep.
Like my chef Paula, and there's other food prep services out there that can help fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Or if you're like just getting started back into a routine, sometimes it can be overwhelming to be like, oh
it's
my gosh, and I have to cook too, and I don't have time, and just da 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 da. Well, then for a few weeks, get a meal program. Yeah. You know, that can also take out food sensitivities, or
absolutely,
you know, or that can, you know, cook healthy meals that are very easy. To reheat or to cook some of the chef boxes and things like that.
I think HelloFresh.
Yeah, right? I mean, just try it. Like, it doesn't mean you have to do it forever.
Exactly.
Just invest in yourself for just these times, and you'll start to see, like, you're incentivized because you're getting over the hump. Your body's now showing your mind that, hey, you're doing it. It can be done. And this is the reflection, and you're in the mirror now. Yeah. You know, so it gets a little easier.
Absolutely.
Each step of the way. But we got to start small.
Yeah, and the beginning is always the hardest, right? Yeah. Like, I could say that 6 months, it's like a sweet spot where you're like, again, that connection between the body and the mind. You're like, there's no one that needs to convince you at this point that this is going to work. You alone realize that, okay, I feel better. I want to wake up early. Yeah. I want water versus like a Starbucks, you know, no judgment, but
things like as you make those strides and take those steps, and that you get into a better, you know, landing zone, then you can even go one little step further or change one more little thing. And then before you know it, it's like your whole lifestyle can be different, you know, in the best of ways.
Yes.
So, this is so inspiring. I hope you guys love this content.
It's like, I never want to stop talking about it.
I know. So listen, I want to just thank you for being here, sharing all this amazing information. I do have a little game that we play with our guests just to get to know you a little bit better. So here we go. We are, this is called the Glow Fast Rapid Fire.
All right, I'm ready.
So ping pong questions. What is one essential oil you could never live without?
Lemongrass.
Okay. Yeah. Lemongrass. I love that.
As soon as I smell it, I feel like, oof, my
revived.
Revived. My nervous system feels calm. Wherever I had been, I was just like, ooh, I feel lighter.
Okay. Yeah. Coffee, matcha, or a giant glass of lemon water?
Yeah, water. So my first thing is lemon water, followed by a protein shake. Is like my ritual every morning, and there's a science behind my protein shake. Do you want me to share it?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so protein shake is not a substitution for your breakfast. You do it 30 to 60 minutes before your breakfast. It's intentional because our body, we've been sleeping for 7, 8, 9 hours depending, right? So our body's in a catabolic state, which is in that breakdown of muscle. So when we wake up, we want to turn that into an anabolic state. Right. And so what it will do, as soon as it wakes up, whatever you did at the gym a day or two ago, that muscle is going to be chipped away, because the first thing your body does is it wants fuel. So it's going to go directly to that muscle for fuel. Yep. Whereas the protein shake is a fast digesting protein, versus if I ate the eggs, which is obviously an
you still want to have a breakfast, like you said.
I do, but I want to give my body an immediate food, so that work that I did at the gym does not chip away. So honestly, I have been doing that for like the last decade. It's something that I really translate into my coaching, and does work wonders. Even when my life happens, when I had my son and I was like, I couldn't eat, I had all these morning sicknesses, I wasn't able to do it, but my muscle, I was able to retain some muscle during that time.
Yeah, using the
protein shake.
Yeah, they're very easy to digest. It's a good way to wake your body up and get those, juices flowing from the gallbladder and just get things like your digestive system working. I like also the collagen broth. Yeah, that too. It's something kind of similar. Yeah. But if you have a good protein shake and it has other nutrients in it, obviously.
Absolutely. Which, I mean, I always say I'm not for like the supplement world, but there are good companies out there I'm always happy to send them over. But yeah, that's both of these I think are great options for.
I mean, not everyone wants to drink a mug of chicken broth after their water in the morning, but it does work.
Yeah, but just like we were talking, once your mind connects the benefit of it, I think even if you don't want to do it, just like fish oil. Yeah. I haven't done it in a while, but that's another of my third steps of I'll have my fish oil. Yeah. And at the beginning, it tastes horrible. But as you do it, you're almost kind of like, it's
not that bad.
It's not that bad.
Your nightstand essentials. What is the last thing you touch or look at before sleep?
My Bible.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in a season of strengthening my faith. So I have to either in the morning and at night, both, read a verse. And it's just been so good to my heart, Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I love that.
If Moss Wellness was a music genre, what would it be?
I want to say a jazz, neo jazz vibes genre, Lauryn Hill meets Jill Scott.
Love it.
Yeah.
I grew up on Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, I love Lauryn Hill.
I don't know if the young folks out there will
think
know.
a lot of people do. My husband actually, I'm from Belize, so we listen to Lauryn Hill, a lot of reggae and and so when I told my husband, I didn't know that he knew about Lauryn Hill, and he's like, when I was a kid, they did a game, and they all were fighting for the CD.
Oh my gosh.
But he said it was at a rank, so I guess each end had a color. And sometimes as kids you also follow the crowd, and he says that I just ended up being by myself in one corner, and I ended up winning
getting the CD.
Yeah, so we have it.
There you go. Lauryn Hill all the way.
Lauryn Hill.
One sentence, and we'll make this the last one, but one sentence that you tell yourself when life gets chaotic. Do you have a mantra?
Yes, I have a couple depending on where I'm at, but I think we share this too with my husband. It's not that bad, when you really look at it, you can overcome it. Our minds are so powerful, we just have to be in the right mindset and surrounded by the best people. Yeah. I do believe in the power of unity, having great friends, a great support system. Yeah. Because it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh. Well, thank you so much for being here. This has been just a beautiful time together and sharing with all of our viewers and listeners the path to a better you.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
we hope that all of this, just either if it's one little snippet can stay and just transform your lives, because that's why we do this, and pour our heart. I always say this is a heart work type of job, because we do it so that others can live just a life that's thriving for them.
Yeah, I love that. So now where can everyone find you online?
Yes, I have my website, moss-wellness.com, or Instagram, Moss Wellness with 3 S's. Please subscribe to our newsletter on our website, because we send out about 19 pages a month of just educational component.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, and we just hope to be a resource for our community. So we're always trying to bring you the best and most honest information around health and wellness.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yes. I love that. So thank you again.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Such a pleasure to talk about these topics, and I know we'll
and keep continuing on our adventures.
I know our paths will cross again for sure.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for watching. If you've made it this far and you find this content helpful, please like, share, subscribe, send it to somebody you love. We are here to help promote and, like you said, just have everyone live their best lives.
Yeah, to make positive and important health decisions.
So, guys, I will see you in the next episode. But until then, be well and take care. Ciao.